I poured off half the liquid from here. Do you see how much liquid is still left in here? It's really up to you if you want to stash some of the teriyaki liquid early in the prepping, because either way, when you're done, you're still going to end up with some liquid in here. Here's everything that we're using today. So we are, of course, using some fresh blend. And if you know, you know, but this is similar to Epis or green seasoning. I do also have a recipe for this in every one of my cookbooks. And I will also list a link to the tutorial and also the ingredients for this below. Chicken seasoning, garlic powder, all-purpose seasoning, a half a cup of soy sauce. Feel free to use low sodium soy sauce, paprika, and this is 2 teaspoons, a quarter of a teaspoon of black pepper, and 1 teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes, 1 tablespoon of crushed or pureed ginger. These are some drumsticks that I did already wash using lime juice and cool water. And I did also clean these up already. This is about 1.5 pounds of drumsticks. And this is a quarter cup of dark brown sugar. And this is a half of a sweet pepper, which I did cut up into sticks, and a half of a small onion, which I did cut up also. So the first thing that I want to get started with is to partially make my teriyaki marinade. And once we go, you're going to see why I say partially. You guys, this is super simple, super easy. Do this however you feel like doing it, but this is how I want to do it. So I have my half of a cup of soy sauce, and now I'm going to put the entire 1 tablespoon of pureed ginger in here. Now I'm going to add in my sugar. For the sugar, for the sweetness of this, I would definitely say to personalize this part. So if you prefer your teriyaki a bit more on the sweeter side, go ahead and use more sugar for sure. Next, I'm going to add in the red pepper flakes and the black pepper. Alright, so now I'm going to just stir this until everything has dissolved, and then I'm going to set this aside. Just a tip, just in case you're not using low sodium soy sauce tends to be salty. It has a high sodium content, so I would say to add sugar or enough sugar until it's at your level of sweetness, or it's not too salty. But that's why I say go ahead and use low sodium soy sauce or whichever one you prefer. But be careful, because soy sauce, as you should know, can be pretty high in sodium. Alright, so now I'm going to set this aside and get started on the chicken. Now, this is the second part, or somewhat of the second part of making the marinade. Again, you guys, do this however you want to. For some strange reason, whenever I make teriyaki baked chicken, I like to season my chicken with the powdered seasonings and then go in with the liquids afterwards. It's kind of sort of like a mind thing, you guys, where I want to ensure that my chicken gets seasoned properly and down to the bone. So you could simply just pour all of these seasonings in the soy sauce and pour it over your chicken, and easy 1, 2, 3, season it. Again, do it however you want to. This is just my thing. So I'm going in with the paprika, and again, that's 2 teaspoons of paprika. Now I'm gonna go in with 2 teaspoons of chicken seasoning, and you don't have to OD on your seasonings. Because majority of your flavor will come from the teriyaki sauce, which is the soy sauce, the ginger, and things of that nature. So you don't want to overpower that. But, you know, I just can't put that on my chicken. My chicken needs to be seasoned properly. 2 teaspoons garlic powder, 2 teaspoons all-purpose seasoning. I'm also adding 1 really large tablespoon of fresh blend. Again, fresh blend is similar to Epis, sofrito, green seasoning, and I will list the ingredient list for this below. The fresh blend was added strictly just for some extra flavor, but if you don't have that on hand, don't worry about it. You can do without it, but if you do have fresh blend, sofrito, Epis, go ahead and add it just for some extra flavoring here. So now I'm going to season the chicken, and I'm going to ensure that I go up under the skin. I'm also using, or I left my skin on, but if you prefer your chicken without the skin, go ahead and do whatever you prefer. I just like to make my teriyaki baked chicken with the skin on, but I am not a big skin fan, so this isn't something that you see me do normally. So I'm just going to rub the seasonings up and combine everything evenly, ensure that I get up under the skins and get everywhere, and then I'm going to pour the marinade or the teriyaki sauce on here. So as you guys can see, I'm pulling back the skin on each chicken leg, and I'm going to season it just like that, and I'm doing that just to ensure that the seasonings and everything get up underneath here. And then I'm going to pour the remainder or the rest of the sauce on and then pull them back once that's on again. I'm doing this just to ensure that my chicken gets seasoned properly. Next, I'm going to add in the green peppers. Now, this may do a little something for your chicken in terms of adding a little green pepper flavor in here. But you guys, I just want to get rid of this out of my refrigerator, so I'm just throwing it in here. We are now going to pour in the marinade. Now, you want this to touch every single weir, every part of your chicken. If you're able to do this or to allow your chicken to marinate in a Ziploc bag, that'll be even better. But you want your chicken to soak up all of this yumminess right here, the sauce. And something I also forgot to mention, for the purposes of making some extra sauce for your chicken, only if you want to, you can stash a little bit of that sauce. And not pour everything on your chicken. Set it aside and you can use that to make some extra sauce. Alright, so I'm just ensuring that my sauce touches every part of my chicken. And as a matter of fact, this isn't submerged enough for me. I want the chicken to be fully submerged into this liquid, because the idea here is that we want it to soak up the liquid, because that's the flavor. So I'm going to transfer this to a Ziploc bag, and then I'm going to allow this to marinate for at least 4 hours for the purpose of this video, but I will recommend to allow this to sit overnight if you're able to. Trust me, you guys, it's going to be worth it. All right, so I'm going to transfer this to a Ziploc, allow it to marinate for 4 hours, and I will be back when it's time to put this in the oven. The last thing I want to do before we put this down to marinate is to pull back the skin back over each piece of chicken, like I mentioned before, because once we start to bake this, we want them to look nice and pretty. So I'm just going to pull back the skin so that each piece looks like so. And then I'm going to allow this to marinate for 4 hours, and then we'll start baking. It's the end of our 4-hour marination, so I have preheated my oven to 370 degrees, and now I'm placing everything in the bowl. The chicken, the peppers, and everything. And then all I'm going to do is to pour the teriyaki sauce over here, cover it tightly, and place in the oven to bake for 1 hour. Now these drumsticks are not very big, so it may take an hour, may go over about 10 minutes or so, but what I will be sure to do is to check on them halfway in and be sure to baste it, the chicken that is, using the teriyaki sauce. And I'm going to try to pack these as tight as possible because I want these to be nice and juicy. I mean, of course it's going to remain nice and juicy because we're going to be baking these in the juices. And as I lay these down in here, do you notice that I'm making sure to pull back the skin properly over each of them? Because I want these to look nice and cute when they're done. If you just leave the skin, however, of course it's going to cook however you leave it. So I want these to look nice and cute when they're done, because you guys always hear me say that I eat with my eyes. Alright, so we've gotten our chicken in here. I'm just gonna go in and just put the peppers in random places, nothing special. Next, I'm going to garnish this using the onions that we stashed earlier. We just want some extra flavor in here, you guys. Alright, that's it. I have that left over. Alright, last but not least, we are going to pour all of the juices all over here. We want the chicken to bake in this nice juice, and so what happens is when it bakes, it's going to just soak up all of this delicious sauce in here. Just scrape that out because I don't want to waste anything. Alright, y'all see how delicious that looks already, you guys? I wish you could smell it. The peppers, the sauce, the seasonings. Oh my god, you guys. It smells so good. So now, we're just gonna wrap this up tightly using foil paper. You guys, don't judge me, but this is all the foil paper I have left. I had to make the little bit of foil paper that I have left over work. So I wrapped it up as tight as possible. Now I'm going to place this in the oven to bake for about 1 hour, 1 hour 10 minutes. I would say until it's done, but it's not a lot of chicken, so I definitely say we should be about an hour and 10 minutes. And as I mentioned before, halfway through the cooking process, I'm going to uncover this, baste it with some more juices, which you guys will see. I will baste it with the own juices that's in here, and we'll just allow this to cook and do its thing. All right, so into the oven this goes. We are at the 30-minute mark, you guys. How the chicken looks so far. So now I'm just going to baste each piece of this using the juices that's already in here, and then I'm going to cover it tightly and place it back in the oven for an additional 30 minutes. The chicken has been cooking in the oven, or the chicken has been baking in the oven for about 1 hour now. So what I'm going to do is to throw off about half of the amount of liquid in here, uncover it, and place it back in the oven for an additional 15 minutes, just so that it can get a little crispy, or the skin can crisp up just a little bit, and also just so that it can get a nice color. Alright guys, so it has been approximately 1 hour and 20 minutes since the chicken was in the oven, and you guys, do you see the color on this? Do you see the color on this, you guys? It smells so good. Now, even though I poured off half the liquid from here. Do you see how much liquid is still left in here? It's really up to you if you want to stash some of the teriyaki liquid early in the prepping, because either way, when you're done, you're still going to end up with some liquid in here. Now, I'm just basting my chicken just to finish things off. And by baking this chicken in liquid, trust me, you don't have to worry about if your chicken is too dry. This is going to be delicious, flavorful, juicy, and most of all, it was so easy, you guys. So easy and stress-free. So this, I would say, is perfect for a weeknight or just whenever you want to, but definitely perfect for a quick and easy weeknight dinner for your family. Now we're checking the meat for doneness, and you see how juicy and delicious this looks. So I'm going to allow this to rest for about 5 to 10 minutes or so, and then we'll get this plated out. That is a wrap for this teriyaki baked chicken. I'm having mine with some steamed broccoli and cauliflower, along with some roasted garlic mashed potato, which I do have a recipe for that in my hard copy cookbook, you guys. A Taste of Yad and Abroad. Alright, so thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video, comment, subscribe if you haven't subscribed as yet, and again, change up things if you must. See you in the next tutorial. Happy cooking.